The crowd beneath her at the water tower could have caught the dog could have caught her. You don't know.
Dogs famous for catching babies gently.
A dog named Zeus is there, just like
Yeah.
Rhyme or free, it doesn't matter to me. It's my bad poetry. Good day, and welcome to My Bad Poetry, a podcast where we take a deep dive into our poems from youth, yesteryear, or even yesterday. Always asking the question, why in the world did I write this? I'm Aaron.
And I'm Dave.
And today we have our first ever return guest on the show. From all the way back in season 2, author of such bad poems as The List and Adam's Apple, and coiner of the phrase thick boy when describing a full-length poetry book, Lannie Stabile, we are honored to have you back on the show.
Thank you. I'm honored to be back and to be your first return guest.
We're just glad anyone's willing to come back on the show.
You made me laugh so hard at the thick boy, and I was trying hard to be quiet.
It's just such a good line. You really nailed it with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can't take all the credit because Jason B. Crawford started Chubby Chap, right? And that's kind of where I got thick boy from.
We stand on the shoulders of giants.
We do.
Yeah.
We stand on the shoulders of Jason.
Always looking out for thick boys.
Speaking of which, you have a new poetry book out, full length. We could qualify this as a thick boy. Since your last appearance, Inconvenience of Grief, with a pushcart nomination included. Congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I listened to you read one of these in a NAWP event.
Yes.
And you picked the one, literally when I first read it, like my stomach dropped and I gasped. Do you remember which one it was?
No, all I remember from that is going, is that Aaron? Is that the Aaron? And then it was, and I was really excited.
No, you read The First Halloween Without Her.
Oh, okay.
I can't. That one would get all my nominations if we were nominating for, but that's a devastating poem, and just I wanted to shout that out because that's amazing. But besides the Inconvenience of Grief, any other new things that you want to tell our dear listeners?
Not so much with writing because I've taken a step back for the holidays.
Sure.
Hopefully I can, ramp up come the new year, but it's really important for me to be with my family. And then I can tell you, however, that I've got a chapbook that will be published, although the date has kind of been up in the air due to some unforeseen circumstances, but I just got some of the blurbs back yesterday, and they're really great blurbs. One of them's from Gabrielle Bates, and I'm really excited. Hopefully that drops soon.
Okay.
The plan was for it to be out in September, but like I said, it got a little postponed. It's called When the Forest Finds You. And it's, like I said, it's a chapbook, but I love chapbooks because they have very specific and short things to say, right? Like you don't have to have much of an attention span to kind of get the meaning of those. That works very well for me. But each poem is named after a trope in horror movies. So like obligatory nude scene, jump scare, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the names right now. I'm watching Christmas movies, not horror.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, they're named after horror tropes, and similar to Zeus, it talks about sexual assault and sexual violence against women. And so it's a really important chapbook to me. I'm glad that it's finally making its way out into the world, and I'm excited for you to read that.
That's awesome.
Obligatory shower scene. Sorry, not nude scene. It was shower.
Either way.
Same difference,
Yeah.
yeah.
If I like obligatory boob scene, whatever, like they're all the same.
Yep.
That's such a weird
trope.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't know why it happens, but of course I do. Because people are terrible.
Well, yeah, it's directors. They get that R rating for the slasher gore, and they're like, might as well earn the
I made
R.
a bingo card for Die Hard for my friends. My friends and I, we watch it every year for Christmas.
Sure.
And I was like, let's do a bingo card this year. And it went off really well. I got like 4 bingos and my friends got like 0. So I swear I did not choose that bingo card, but I just
cheater.
But their suggestion at the end was next year we have boobs as a square. And I was like, oh, you're right. There are boobs. And
because Die Hard?
There's a calendar that's just hanging up, and then he's literally got a machine gun in his hand. He runs by and stops long enough to tap it for good luck and keeps running with his machine gun.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like last time we talked about thick boys, now we're talking about boobs. It's me. It's not you two.
Yeah. No, it's us as well.
You bring out the worst in us, Lannie.
That's good.
Well, Dave, how about you ground us once more in the subject of this podcast?
Yes.
Bad poetry. What have you brought for us this week?
I have brought a poem called Old Man.
Love it.
Don't know the difference between a pansy or a panzer. Couldn't tell you about panna cotta or terracotta. Can't guess if it's a dumbbell or a hand-drilled well. No clue if it's belt-fed or cherry red. But I'm in my 30s, so I'm smoking a turkey.
There are so many layers. So much to unpack there.
I think by unpack you mean bury and never examine again.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah.
Is this you mentioned recently that you've been experimenting with after poems. It kind of felt like you were doing somewhat of a parody on something.
I wasn't intentionally, and then afterwards I realized it sounds a lot like I think it's a Chuck Berry. No, not Chuck Berry.
Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. That's what I was thinking.
That's not Chuck Berry, right? Who is that?
I have no clue.
I
Cooke.
Don't know. Who is it?
Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke. I can tell you, however, that the right-wingers took that song over on TikTok for a while.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Gross.
It was very annoying.
It was very annoying. I am curious, though. I don't know what a panzer is. Is that a real word?
It is I think it's a German tank.
Oh.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think so. Right. That's why, I mean, because that's what men in their 30s have to do. They get into smoking meat or World War II history.
No, that's accurate.
Yeah. So I know nothing about World War II history other than, the ineffectual actions taken by the church and how they didn't really stop a genocide. And then I've started smoking meat. So
I did go through a phase of World War II. I'm not a 30-year-old man, and I wasn't then either.
Really?
But I went through it because I'm Jewish, and I was like,
okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to read up on this.
Yeah.
So I read a lot. I actually took a class in college, too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I took a modern German class in college, but it started post-World War II.
That'd be interesting to me.
It was fascinating.
Yeah.
So, Dave, you have given up on World War II, and you are just smoking
turkeys.
Smoking turkeys.
Smoking turkeys, baby.
Okay. So, will that be the dish served for your holiday seasons? From now on?
It's the dish being served for supper tonight in the Nissen household.
So you just wrote this today, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. What? Do you think I'm good at stuff? Do you think I plan ahead?
I'm not gonna lie, I really liked that poem. And I want to read it again, look up all the words you and then maybe eat a turkey sandwich. I don't
There you
know.
go. I have to look because, like, as I was writing this on my phone while my wife and I were watching the Great British Bake Off, there were multiple words where I'm like, I think this is how you spell kind of panna cotta.
Yeah,
I
panna
don't
cotta.
know.
Is that a okay? Is panna cotta a cheese or a noodle?
I thought it was a noodle.
I
So,
thought it was like a cheesecake or
uh-oh.
something. I told you I don't know about it.
Panna
Okay, so
cotta.
your poem literally is confessions
True.
of what you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
It's a dessert. It's a
Heck
dessert.
yes.
Yeah.
wow.
See,
Oh.
I know food. And by that I mean I eat
Poetry.
a lot of it.
Oh man.
We have this thing at work, and this was my first time experiencing it, but it's called Pig Fest, and everybody in the accounting department brings a dish, and then like you literally just pig out all day long, and then they
Nice.
crown a Pig Fest champion, and it's really like the person who eats the most food. It sounds awful, like why but they're like everybody's really good natured about it and stuff, and and somehow I got on the nomination list. Like
Huh.
I don't really eat that much food. How did I get here? I didn't win. I
Oh,
think I got nominated because I came to work with pig ears and a pigtail.
Ah,
yes.
the commitment. I like
Yes.
it.
It's an honor just to be nominated, you know?
Yes. I was trying to win. I was like, it's about the spirit, not the stomach.
Well, Lannie, you didn't do any extra work for us. You brought 3 poems last time, and the one we didn't get to. It's a long one, and you said it has quite a story to it. So,
It does.
okay, so it's the picture's slightly blurry, but 40-ounce Magnum.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll do what we always do. How about you give us a clean read, and then we'll dive in.
All right. I wrote this when I was 17, so I'm gonna try and give it that 17-year-old tone.
Perfect.
We'll see. We'll see how
Okay.
it goes.
Okay.
Nice.
40-ounce Magnum. 40-ounce Magnum. It takes 2 seconds to say this, and even less time to guzzle it. Chug, chug, chug. 40-ounce Magnum. 5 syllables that fill me with dread. D, toes. R, knees. E, gut. A, shoulders. D, head. Dread, filled completely, head to toe. You're an abusive alcoholic. What the hell are you doing with her? She is everything, and you are nothing. You cannot milk her dry like you do that brown bagged bottle. She is stronger than any liquor you can consume. Her potency could make your mouth burn like holy water against the devil. Devil, yes, you are, and just like Lucifer was banned from heaven, so will you be from our lives. Oh, and just so you're not lonely, take your friend with you. 40-ounce Magnum. It takes 2 seconds to say this, and even less time to hate you. Leave, leave, leave. How'd I do? Did I sound like a teenager with angst?
That is a 90-ounce Jeroboam of poetry.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, explain yourself there, Dave.
Well,
Jeroboam.
isn't a Magnum is the normal size bottle? Jeroboam is like the huge bottle?
So what you're telling me is not only do you eat a lot of food, but you drink a lot of beer?
Oh, I'm champagne. I'm fancy. No, I have that in my mind that they're all named after the sizes are named after biblical kings.
Jeroboam.
Is Magnum a
Magnum,
whoa?
Jeroboam,
Whoa, no. Is Magnum a big biblical king?
Magnus is Babylonian king or something, I think.
I love your brain, Dave.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, me too. It works great and doesn't cause me any problems.
I don't know though. I don't know what comes after that.
Wow. Okay.
I'll have to remember that though, because then I can do a follow-up called I don't know, 60-ounce Jeroboam.
Sure.
I don't know how many.
Yeah, look that up, Dave.
90 ounces. You said 90 ounces.
Well, I just remember it being a friggin' massive bottle, like comically large.
Das Boot. Das biblical.
Das biblical boot. A Jeroboam is 4 standard bottles of wine.
Wow, okay.
Gosh.
So it's stupidly huge.
That's impressive. Okay, so you have your follow-up.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'll take care of that next time, guys.
Great.
When I'm your first ever third returning.
Yes.
returning.
Yeah, 3-peat. We'll have to like create a trophy or something.
I want a trophy.
Yeah.
I didn't win Pigfest. I need a trophy.
Okay. So 40-ounce Magnum.
Yeah.
This is a prose poem, if I'm reading this correctly. Kind of. Well, I don't know. It's shaped like a prose poem. It's a paragraph. There's no line breaks.
Yeah, I'll tell you that I even though I've written many, many prose poems, I still don't know what the hell the difference is between a prose poem and a story, a very short story.
Sure. Thank you, because I also didn't either. So I'm just
it's
glad
really
you're
just
admitting
a
that.
feeling. It's a feeling at this point where you go, no, this is a prose poem. This is a piece of flash fiction. And I literally did a workshop with Danny Rose, and Danny Rose said like this she was supposed to teach us prose poems, and at the end of that she said a lot of things, she taught us a lot of things, but I still didn't understand. I was like, I don't know.
You know.
The beauty of poetry.
But yeah, I would probably call it actually it's called a personal narrative. That is what I wrote here. And the reason I say that is because I was in my second year of theater camp when I took a personal narrative class, because you could take set building, you could take, the wardrobe, accents, whatever you wanted. And I was like, I'm going to do a personal narrative. And up until then, any poem that I had written was literally four line stanzas, 5 stanzas long.
Sure.
And it was about like some of the things that I wrote about was Long Live the King, 1-800 Dog Bite, The Russian Spy, and none of these things were personal whatsoever. It was just these silly little things that I wrote about. Then I took this personal narrative class and I had to write about myself and write about my experiences. And at the time, my mom had this boyfriend that was an alcoholic and I didn't like him and he was abusive. And so I wrote about that, and they chose it for me to perform at the end of summer camp because we had like one big production where everybody did a piece. And I remember I ended up putting these brown bag bottles. They weren't really bottles, but they looked like brown bag bottles on the stage, and it was really just a couple of Tootsie Pops in the bottom to weight it. And
Yeah.
so when I did the D toes R knees, I think that was the part that I did it. But I would step on one and I would like crunch it up or whatever. Maybe there were 6 because then I would step on it and I'd crunch it, step on it. And then like the last thing was leave. And at the last leave, I kicked the last one into the audience, which probably wasn't smart considering there were Tootsie Rolls in there or Tootsie Pops in there. But nobody got hurt. It was a very emotional piece.
Oh, wow.
I actually love the physicality of that. I think that's kind of awesome.
You know what? I'm thinking there were different parts of the poem that I stomped on or whatever, because now that I'm thinking about it, I remember the part where it says, her potency could make your mouth burn. I stepped on one of the bags and like did one of these burn.
Dug it in.
Kind of, dug it in. And so it must have been where I stomped on him or whatever at certain parts of the poem.
Mm.
Yeah. I was theatrical, to say the least.
Well, second year of theater camp.
But that was really my turnaround. Honestly, it was, because then I started writing poems about my experiences. And they were very angsty poems. A lot of them were like, and I think we talked about this before, but why doesn't he love me? Why doesn't she love me? Like, wait, why is it he and she? What's going on? What are these feelings? So there was like a lot of angst in those poems. And I still, like, as personal as they were, I still didn't fully open up, I don't think, until college, when I wrote this like brick poem or brick wall poem, literally called The Wall. And it was my friend, I was trying to write it, and my friend that was in that class goes, why don't you like literally just make it a wall, like one word at a time? And I did that, and I like kind of really let some stuff loose that I'd been holding on to for so long. And it feels so it like, obviously it's a fucking freaking metaphor. The wall, and I like burst through it, right? And now I'm able to talk about my experiences in the way that I need to talk about them and need to get them out. And then it was chosen for one of the final projects when I graduated, and I made a like 4x4 brick wall, and like each brick was a word. It was really cool.
That is cool.
And maybe I should send that one to you guys. But
yeah.
Those are really some pivotal poems in my life.
I'm glad this one was pivotal in the sense that it's that personal turn.
Yeah.
Did you choose it one word at a time?
Not this one.
Not this one.
No.
Because I see a moment that seems very intentional, and I have no clue what the intention is.
Which part?
Why did you think you had to? I get that it's the dread, you're being filled up with dread.
Yeah.
But why did you feel like you had to respell the word? Like the D, there's nothing that makes the D like match toes or R with knees.
Listen, I had my formative years in early 2000s, mid 2000s, where all of the rappers and all of the singers were spelling out words in their songs, like FABOLOUS, like
that's true.
They call me US, HERRAYMOND. Like this is what I grew up with. And so I thought I had to spell it out. And I cannot tell you what 16, 17-year-old me was thinking.
That makes total sense now. Okay, so our dear listeners can't see this page, but you have taken a picture. So are we looking at 17-year-old handwriting here, or did you write this again at one point?
Good question. I think this is probably maybe 18-year-old handwriting.
Okay. So you're making a collection of your works?
Oh, I could show you some things. Yes.
Dear listeners, you missed out on the biggest eyebrow lift in the history of the world. Just like I could show you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, dear listeners, there are 7.
Yeah, I knew I was going to have a collection of poems before I had a collection of poems. And to be honest, I had another one. Remember those poems I was telling you about, like 1-800-DOG-BITE, The Russian Spy? I had a collection, and I loaned it to a friend, and she lost it. So there would have been 8.
Monster. Oh.
Monster. The one that this poem is from is this guy. It's blue. It's got like geometric flowers and whatnot. It's denim. And it's got like a little fringe on it, a little fringe on top. There are stickers all up in the middle and quotes, and there are like people who were my best friends at the time with little hearts, like their names, Paul, Alicia, Trisha, Holly. Um, there's a picture of Audrey Hepburn. I love Hooters. I heart Hooters.
Oh, yeah.
Back to the boobs.
Back to the boobs. Yeah. Anyway, and then you'll see there's like the writing is really, really small.
Oh, wow.
Because I still write kind of small and neat. I think this writing is pretty neat.
I'm impressed by that. What I'm see.
Yeah, and I used to be called a typewriter when I was in high school because I wrote so small and neat.
Nice.
And not bubbly like a lot of girls. But yeah, and then like sometimes I would find another poem that I liked and I would write it in here in a different color. Yeah. Anyway.
That's incredible.
Thank you. So these are for another time.
Yeah. I was wondering about the design at the top, that like the inlaid rows from the top down or whatever.
Yeah, that's that actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So and I don't know if you can see it very well, but so this one is colored red, that one's colored orange, and it's they symbolize like who the poem is about.
Oh, you color-coded your poems.
Yeah, so orange is like family. There's green here, which I think is Jeff, like this guy that I dated, Jeff, with a G. There's purple, which I think was for my best friend at the time. That was one of the poems that I read last time, I think, were about her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Red, I think, was Cool Steve. Yes, I called him Cool Steve. Here's one that was red and green because it was about Cool Steve and Jeff with a G. I don't even know if my wife has seen these, to be honest.
How are you not hosting this show?
I should be.
Yeah. When Dave and I retire, it's all yours because we're working off of just my journal from high school, and we're running out of poems here real quick. So
thank God.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I mean, oops, that was just coughed. Awkward.
But it looks like you have quite the supply of awkward high school poems.
Yeah, I'd have a couple seasons.
Yeah.
If I read one of those every time.
Yeah. We should get back to the poem at hand here. Like you said, you cringed at the holy water against the devil. I just want to point out that I think it's really funny. This is our third in a row? Or this is our third in season 5, at least, episode that has referenced fallen angels.
Oh.
Just from one of my poems in high school to Luke Wortley's poem from last week, and now this one. So an unintentional theme showing up here in season 5, but hey, Lucifer was banned from heaven, you know.
I love the devil. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you can, like your mouth burn like holy water against the devil, period.
Yeah.
Devil.
Period.
Period. Yes, comma, you are.
It could be worse. It could be yes, ellipses, you, ellipses, are, ellipses.
Or it could be yes, comma, you, or YOUR. Yes, I don't know.
You go.
Yeah,
like I could have just spelled something wrong. At least it's spelled right.
Yeah, you got that. You got that.
Putting your there doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter.
I would like the sound of that though. Yes, your.
Yes, your.
Oh wow. Oh, you do have your down here later though. You are not lonely. You were showing off that you understood your proper conjugations. I think that was a 17-year-old showing off there. It's like, I can get these URs and yours correct.
I've never had an issue.
Really?
And I can tell you what, I never had an issue with affect and effect either.
Well, I'm just jealous now.
I was going to say, I still do. I'm dumb.
I type what I think, and then inevitably Google or Word will be like, I think you mean. It's like, okay.
I'll tell you what I did do, though. I was in the district spelling bee, okay? And I got the word grope, but for whatever reason, I heard glope with an L. And I, in my head, I go, well, that doesn't make any sense. I've never heard this word in my life. But instead of asking them to use it in a sentence, I just spelled glope. And I was eliminated. And it made me so mad. I went back again and I won it.
Wow.
The next year.
I have to plead ignorance here. I have never shotgun a beer. So can you do a Magnum in 2 seconds?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
It's 40 ounces. No way.
That'd be a little nuts.
That'd be a lot. Okay. Well,
it was hyperbole, Aaron.
Gosh. He doesn't understand us poets. He doesn't get us.
Not everything you read in poetry is true.
Yeah.
What?
Because I do know what panna cotta is.
You do. I learned something new today. 2 new things. A panzer.
And a panna cotta. Oh, wow. So you performed this on stage for Dance Magnum. How do you remember the reception at all? You're bringing this to us as a bad poem. So, like, is it ingrained in your head that there were boos and hisses and you're like, this must be a bad poem?
Oh, no. It's bad because it's cringy. Everyone applauded. And my mom came up to me after the show and had some questions.
I was going to say, was the boyfriend there at the performance? Or?
No, I think they'd broken up at the time. I don't know. She always got like broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together. So I don't know. And there were a lot of boyfriends like that. So I know who I wrote this about, but it could really apply to just about any of them.
Sure.
Oh, fun fact. If you read Something Dead and Everything and you read Like Butter about the farm, and the roofer with the deaf roofer. The deaf roofer is this boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
Dude.
Now, I didn't feed him to the pigs, but I wanted to.
I'm glad you clarified
Some inspiration.
That.
Yes. It's good to know, just because, I've got the cops on speed dial just in case.
I did
got
not
a cold case
feed
solved.
him to pigs.
This cannot stand in the court of law. I mean, you weren't lying when you said that you'd keep it to one poem this time because of the many layers.
You didn't know that we'd be talking about like Tootsie Pops in a brown bag, kicking him at the audience.
Tootsie Pops, boobs, and pigs.
Okay, listen, I was actually, I thought enough about the, hitting the audience that I kicked it toward the wall. So the end of, I was joking when I said I kicked into the audience because I know better. But I kicked it at the wall. And so the end of the poem literally is just that Tootsie Pop shattering.
Huh.
Listen, this teenager knew the difference between you are and your. Of course, she's going to kick the Tootsie Pop at the wall. She was
it's
okay.
Obvious, yes.
Obviously.
No, you were picking out the person who didn't know the difference between your and went, I'm going to beat it into your skull with a Tootsie Pop in a bag.
See, I envision more like a parade style vibe where it's like you just like arc it like a nice little soft lob and like a lucky kid catches it. It's like, yay! And so
I think that one went a little too dark.
Well, if I do cut it, and I'll cut to that, I'll just say we essentially made a reference to like a reverse bouquet, and
Okay.
you could think on that.
Or maybe this is the first podcast episode that you need a warning.
Yeah.
Actually, we have had a couple other content.
Oh, have you?
warnings.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you're trying to get all your firsts.
I am. I'm just picturing all the trophies you're gonna send to me.
Yes.
And I was just trying to, like a Pokemon, I was trying to collect them all. So.
Yes. Yeah.
I get
sadly, that one's already claimed. First
Damn.
Content Warriors already claimed. So, Lannie, we love having you on. It's been an hour, and I fear that we could go so much more. So,
I have to check on that turkey.
Is it smoking right now?
Currently.
Oh my! And did I catch? Sorry, to bring it all back. Let's do some chiastic structure in this thing. Redwood. Did you use some cedar for the flavor?
I'm using a competition grade apple wood and cedar.
When you asked about cedar, I almost made a hamster cage joke, but I kept it to myself.
Again, another deep cut something dead and everything reference.
Yeah,
folks, if you have
that's all I ever think about.
Lannie, let's wrap this up with the words of a true poet before we're here till dinner. We here at My Bad Poetry, we end each week with the words of a true poet. So would you be willing to read for us another one of your poems today?
Okay. I thought you were going to say it earlier when you said the first Halloween without her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I decided to read the first Christmas without her from The Inconvenience of Grief. Obviously it's on topic. I'm thinking a lot about my mom right now. You know, wishing she was here to hang out with my daughter, who's really freaking cool. I'm surprised I didn't talk about her. And just to give a little bit of context, in this book, although this book isn't about my mom in entirety, it is about grief and about like family dysfunction. And there's a series of poems in here that are the first without her. So the first Halloween, the first Christmas, the first year, the first Thanksgiving, what have you. And I think that it really encompasses the feeling of that loss. So the first Christmas without her. With desperate fingers, I pluck the head out of its socket, which of course solves nothing. Darkness remains in the tree. Why couldn't you last just one more Christmas? This pre-lit frosted fur was meant to make life easier, but a strand gave up. Halfway down the cold steel spine, and I never had a parent teach me about series circuits and the patience to check bulb by bulb by bulb. Frankly, this grief is inconvenient. A light goes out, and still I am expected to shine. Is it about a tree? I don't
know. That's phenomenal. I mean, truly, this is an incredible collection. And I'm glad you read that one. Because, again, for the holiday season.
Yeah. It's definitely the most emotional that I've published.
Yeah. You can sense that.
Well, and I feel like that is a useful poem. Yesterday I couldn't record because I was at a funeral for one of my high school friends, and to hear that poem, I mean, it's not a mother-daughter relationship, but that fear of loss and the reality of it is really, it shines in that, even if the light doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Sorry for your loss. It goes to show, though, that like everybody's experienced some sort of grief in their life and they can relate. So,
yeah. And the week that this is dropping, it's the week before Christmas, but it also has winter solstice in there, which is called the longest night. And at least within Dave and my tradition of the Lutheran Church, some churches offer longest night services to acknowledge grief in the midst of what is otherwise a considered festive, joyous season. So if you're out there and you're feeling grief and the inconvenience of it, just know you're not alone. And maybe write some bad poetry. Wait, I stole the tag. I'm sorry.
You stole the tag!
I didn't want to go too serious on the end, but it is a good...
This has been my bad poetry.
Now go write some of your own bad poetry. Like, yeah.
That was beautiful. Please keep it.
I will keep it.